Max Nation! I'm UngarToTheMax coming at you with today's episode of the Sports Room Talk Show here on the UngarToTheMax YouTube channel. Actually, this isn't just an episode of the Sports Room Talk Show. This is Step It Up. So, if you've watched the past few episodes of Step It Up, you know I have a co-host, and he's just getting into the stream now. Let's bring him on. He is a big-time UFC fan, huge NASCAR fan. I've got him into AEW, so you know he's looking forward to tomorrow night because there's a certain pay-per-view happening. All out. Sorry, had a frog in my throat that he's especially excited about. But we can talk about that later. He is a big-time Cleveland Browns fan, big-time Cleveland Cavaliers fan, and, oh yeah, big-time Pittsburgh Penguins fan, as well as Cleveland Monsters. I don't think I'm missing anything. I think I've listed off all the accolades. So let's bring him in, my co-host, Seaboss Gaming. Let's see. Pay-per-view. I love it.
Let me do the crossed arms of CM Punk, best in the world.
Well, we'll get to the AEW pay-per-view that's happening tomorrow night.
Also, apparently I made an error that one of the guys on the server corrected. Finn Balor won the match via countout, but because of some stupid champion's advantage, he does not get the undisputed belt.
Correct. That's how it.
That is going to be a rematch. And you know what? I'll even buy the demon for that.
That we can talk. We'll get to wrestling in a little bit. Hold your horses on that. Hold your horses. But there is a reason my guy Seaboss over there, one is wearing a CM Punk shirt, which he bought when AEW was here in Cleveland. And there's a reason his hashtag is hashtag pay-per-view mania. But we're going to hold off on the combat sports aspect of this. And we're going to spend about the first 5 to 10 minutes or so talking about what happened on Thursday. Because I think both of us thought going into it, like, okay, it's the end of August. It's early September. Probably nothing much is going to be happening in the sports world. And then all of a sudden, we get Adrian Wojnarowski, who's like the ESPN NBA analyst. We get what's known as a Woj bomb. Donovan Mitchell is on his way to the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cavaliers traded Lauri Markkanen, which I am very happy about. Colin Sexton, also I am extremely happy about that. Oh, the rookie they drafted 14th overall, Oji Ayabaji, which I wasn't thrilled about that. They traded, I believe it was 3 first-round picks.
Yep.
And 2 pick swaps, which means, don't quote me on this, but I believe Utah has the right to swap with the Cavaliers and basically take that pick. Don't quote me on that. We can look it up.
Believe from what Jason said on Thursday, the 2 pick swaps were 2026 and 2028.
That sounds right. I can look up the details of the trade right now. That's right. Yep. I have my trusty iPad here. Well, I'm also watching UFC Fight Night, actually.
What's the fight going on right now?
We just had a middleweight fight, and Buckley and I think his name's Imanov. Imanov won. Let's see. Yeah, the Cavaliers are sending the Jazz forward Lauri Markkanen, Oji Ayabaji, Colin Sexton, 3 unprotected first-round picks in 2025, 2027, and 2029, as well as 2 pick swaps, 2026 and 2028.
So I'm guessing the whole unprotected part is that they are not lottery protected picks.
That is correct.
But I don't think any of those 3 picks are going to be in the lottery, given,
Yeah, I don't think so. Sexton was part of the trade as a sign and trade. So he ended up signing a 4-year, $72 million deal with the Jazz.
I remember originally, like, everyone thought the sign and trade was going to go him to Dallas.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like. And here's another part of this. Everybody thought it was for sure like that Donovan Mitchell was going to the New York Knicks. Everybody thought that was a surefire thing.
It was just like Johnny Gaudreau to the Devils.
Yeah, or more realistically, it would have been Johnny Gaudreau to the Philadelphia Flyers. It seemed like everybody was saying that.
I heard more Devils than Flyers because he's from New Jersey.
Oh, I heard he's from the Philadelphia area, actually.
He's from the state of New Jersey, but he's closer to Philadelphia than where the Devils play.
Gotcha. But from what I heard,
Yeah.
it was more likely that I think Gaudreau even said he actually wanted to go to the Flyers.
I'm guessing the Flyers did not make anything easy with, the head coach signing of John Tortorella. They're huge. That's not a roster I would want to play on right now as the Philadelphia Flyers. And you know what? I'm going to say it right now. Their best player is Cam Atkinson.
Yeah. But
old-ass Cam Atkinson.
Anyway, getting back to the point, like, in that same breath, nobody thought Johnny Gaudreau was going to join the Columbus Blue Jackets, which is what he ended up doing. 7 years, I think he's paid like less than $10 million a year.
It was a 7x7. Okay. Or 7x7.5, something like that.
Okay, so overall, I think he ended up taking less than what he would have gotten in New Jersey or if Philadelphia had been able to make it work. But anyway, again, that's not the point. Like, getting back to the original thing, like I said, everybody was expecting Donovan Mitchell to end up with the New York Knicks. Like, isn't
right,
that
that's his home team.
Exactly.
I saw a lot of Knicks fans on like YouTube saying like, this is why we need to get him. And initially, the Knicks did propose a trade that would have pretty much stripped their roster for Donovan Mitchell, and the Jazz rejected it.
Yeah. From what I understand, the Knicks basically put a deadline on it. Like, okay, we need a trade in place by Monday night or whatever it was, or we're going to sign R.J. Barrett to an extension. And they couldn't reach a deal by the deadline that was imposed. And so the Knicks signed R.J. Barrett to the extension. But from what I've heard, LeBron signing the extension he did with the Lakers also caused the Cavaliers to get back into the Donovan Mitchell discussion. Because there was a period, the Cavaliers initially said, like, hey, we're out of the Donovan Mitchell trade talks. Like, we're fine with what we have.
I'm guessing the other thing was they were trying to, entice LeBron to come home, and then he signed that deal, and they're like, we tried. Well, I mean, we didn't try, but we wanted LeBron back, even though he couldn't read our minds. So we're just going to go back into the Donovan Mitchell discussion.
Right, which you could make an argument either way. Like, LeBron coming home would have been a good thing, but you could also make an argument on the other side that maybe it wouldn't have been the greatest thing since he's a little bit on the older side. So, and we're a very young, up-and-coming team, which
I know a lot of Cavs fans that don't want him back.
They're probably still bitter about everything that happened when he left the first time to go to Miami.
Or when he, unceremoniously left the second time to go to LA.
Yeah, but with that, he won us a championship. We were in the finals for 4 consecutive years.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we end up getting Donovan Mitchell, and now we we have 4 All-Stars on this team. I know Evan Mobley didn't technically get into the All-Star game.
But he was in the Rising Stars Challenge. He was part of the Skills Challenge when it was Garland and who was the other guy?
Jared Allen.
Doing the half-court shots?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if it was Okoro or Allen.
No, it was Jared Allen. But that's not even why I'm saying Evan Mobley's an all-star. I'm saying that because he finished second in Rookie of the Year. And like you said, he was in the Rising Stars Challenge. He's most likely going to be in the All-Star game this coming season.
Easily.
I feel pretty comfortable in saying that. Hence why I'm saying the Cavaliers now have 4 All-Stars on their roster.
Yep. And if Isaac Okoro has a breakout season, which I'm predicting he will.
He's going to need to, because think about this. We have a dynamic backcourt with Garland and Donovan Mitchell, which any given night, they can both go off for 30-plus points. No problem.
Oh, yeah. Easily.
And then up front, you've got Jared Allen and Evan Mobley, who, if you need them to, they can give you 15 to 20 points in a game, right?
Yep.
And what? They'll get you 8 to 10 rebounds, somewhere in that neighborhood?
Yep. Sounds about right to me.
Yeah. And, of course, they play they're your 2 rim protectors. So I like that. Ooh, we're just about to get to the co-main event. Marvin Vettori against Robert Whitaker in a middleweight bout. So,
ooh, that should be fun.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun fight. But anyway, so I think we do match up relatively well with teams like the Boston Celtics, Milwaukee Bucks, Atlanta Hawks, the Cavs' newest rival as a result of last season, alongside the Philadelphia 76ers. Don't at me. Yes, I know the 76ers swept us last season, but there were things I saw within that 4-game regular season series that led me to believe, okay, I see a rivalry developing here.
And of course, you cannot forget to mention one of our oldest rivalries in the entire sport of basketball, the Chicago Bulls.
Correct. Yep. But yeah, so you have Chicago, you got Miami. Can't forget about them. They were the number one seed in the Eastern Conference.
I feel like that was the weakest number 1 seed I'd ever seen.
I would agree with you on that. Let's actually talk about that for a little bit. We'll get back to the Donovan Mitchell talk in a second. But you're right. Miami was one of the weakest number 1 seeds I've ever seen. I think you're 100% dead on with that.
Yeah, and then, the one thing I'm struggling with is, who should have been in the number 1 seed? Milwaukee? They were the number 2. No, wait, were they the number 2 seed?
Number 3.
Or no. So Boston was the number 2.
Correct.
Yeah.
So,
if it weren't for those early struggles, I'd say Boston would have been the number 1 seed.
Yeah. I would agree with you. Yeah, Milwaukee, I bet you if Milwaukee had Chris Middleton for that series against Boston last year, the Celtics would not have made it to the finals.
Oh, no.
The Celtics wouldn't have even made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Milwaukee would have won that series.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Okay, that would have been a fantastic series, actually, if we had gotten Warriors-Bucks in the finals.
Well, yeah, it's, the former dynasty versus, the defending champions.
And a want-to-be dynasty, because who knows, maybe the Bucks will win 2 to 3 more championships.
That is true.
So, don't worry, I don't have a crystal ball or whatever a fortune teller uses. I don't have those cards or whatever. This is what's happening in your future. No.
If they do rattle off 2 straight finals wins and go for a three-peat, just know that there's going to be a claw stopping them, aka the dynasty killer, Kawhi Leonard.
Let's see if he and the Clippers can get past, can sustain what they did 2 years ago first.
Hoping they do, because I want to see Kawhi get 3 rings on 3 different teams. I don't think that's ever. Wait, no, LeBron did that.
Yeah, I was just gonna
say. Let's say. Wait, I don't think that's ever been heard of. A way like, oh wait, LeBron did it with the Heat, Cavs, and the Lakers.
Although some people say that the title in 2020 is illegitimate because it was in the
bubble ring.
Yeah, you know SpongeBob would love a bubble ring.
I mean, he did play the Bubble Bowl.
Yes, he did. But okay, we're getting a little bit off track. The overall point though is this: as Robert Whitaker is currently making his walkout, Vittori already made his, so we're about to get this co-main event started. But anyway, the Cavs now become a player in the Eastern Conference. Like last year, they certainly overachieved because I don't think anybody was expecting them to be in position to possibly make the playoffs, let alone be in the play-in tournament. I think, from what I understand, everybody was picking them to be back in the lottery. Right?
And I had definitely seen a lot of people saying that we would be worse than Detroit when they drafted Cade Cunningham.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah. They had no faith in any of our guys. And then Evan Mobley breaks out. Darius Garland breaks out. Jared Allen, is doing what he's doing. And all of a sudden, all those people that were like, you're going to be worse than Detroit. You're going to be worse than Detroit. Are all of a sudden quiet.
Exactly. Exactly. So it's just like we know that Milwaukee's going to be there. We know Boston's going to be there. We know Philly is most likely going to be there. We know Brooklyn's going to be there. So that's 5 teams right now, right there. So it's not going to be easy for the Cavaliers to avoid the play-in tournament and get into the actual playoffs. But I think there is a possibility they could.
Yes.
Of those 5 that I just mentioned, Milwaukee, Boston, Philadelphia, Brooklyn. Oh, wait, that's 4. My bad. So there is a spot, clearly. But if the Cavaliers were to somehow break into the top 4 and push one of those teams out, who do you think would be the most likely to get pushed out?
Probably Miami. I just don't see them repeating as, the 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. I actually have them at the 6th seed going into, this season. I have it being Chicago at the 1.
What? Wait a minute. Stop. Okay. What? You have the Chicago Bulls finishing ahead of the defending Eastern Conference champions, ahead of Giannis, and ahead of James Harden and Joel Embiid. I'm wearing my headset. But
I will give you 2 names that solidify my claims. If they are 100% healthy for a full 82-game season, I think Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan can make some incredible magic. And maybe Lonzo Ball has a breakout season, which is something that I don't think I would have ever said because I hate all 3 of the Ball brothers. I hate all of them because, honestly, their father overhyped them.
Especially Lonzo. But
I think what he's doing with Chicago right now is incredible. And if he continues to do that alongside Zach LaVine, alongside DeMar DeRozan, I think they're a clear-cut for the number 1 seed.
Clear cut? What? Okay. I checked my headset. There's nothing in there. So I'm here because I wanted to make sure I was hearing you loud and clear. You're saying that on September 3rd, 2022 at 5:20 p.m. that the Chicago Bulls are going to finish with the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. You're locking that in right here, right now.
I am. And I gave you my reasoning. I think Ball, DeRozan, and Zach LaVine are the Bulls' recipe for success.
All right. First of all, you cannot take that back. It is live here on YouTube.
Oh, I know.
For everyone watching, you heard it here first. Seaboss says the Chicago Bulls will overtake the defending Eastern Conference champion Boston Celtics, and they will overtake the 2021 NBA champion Milwaukee Bucks and be the number 1 seed. You cannot take that back. It is locked in.
I'm not taking that back.
I am holding you to that. You are not allowed to change your pick. Not allowed.
Oh, I know. Well, I usually do this is my preseason thing. Once we're midway through the season at the All-Star break, I'm gonna reevaluate everything. I always do that.
You'll have to talk to me because I'm not sure about giving you the mulligan on that one. I'm not sure.
It's not a mulligan. It's a reevaluation.
Yeah.
I have the Boston Celtics at the number 2, Philadelphia at the 3, and then Cleveland at the 4.
Wait a minute. So you have Chicago 1, you have the Celtics 2,
Yep.
76ers 3.
Yep.
You have the Cavaliers 4.
Yes.
Where the hell do you have Giannis?
5.
No.
And I don't have Giannis being the reason the Bucks are the 5th seed. I think the Bucks might regress a little because, well, let's face it, Drew Holiday ain't exactly the youngest Buck. He's kind of getting up there in age.
Dude, you are...
And I'm still not completely sold on Chris Middleton. Yeah, he had a good finals in 2021, but the rest of the time, he hasn't really shown me that he's capable of being a secondary star to Giannis. He's only considered the secondary star to Giannis because there is no other secondary star on the team.
Dude, what the heck are you smoking over there?
I'm not smoking anything.
Sure.
I'm just saying it. I'm just calling it how I'm evaluating everything in the offseason.
I think
the Bucks
you are off your rocker, dude.
Bucks have made no moves to improve, unlike pretty much every other team in the Eastern Conference.
They have Drew Holiday, they have Grayson Allen, they have Chris Middleton. They're probably going to start No, what am I saying? It's going to be, their starting lineup's going to be Giannis, wow, I'm getting all shooken up by this. Brook Lopez, Giannis, Chris Middleton, Grayson Allen, Drew Holiday. Find me the weak link on that starting lineup. Find the weak link. I don't see one.
What about Grayson Allen?
He fit in seamlessly with the Bucks last year.
Who's to say he can do that again?
They don't need him to put up 20-plus points a game.
I know. They're relying solely on Giannis for that, but...
No.
Well, I guess Giannis and Middleton.
Exactly.
At the same time, Drew Holiday and Brook Lopez, again, they're getting up there in age. And Father Time catches up with everyone.
It seems like Father
Well,
Time.
unless your name is Tom Brady or LeBron James.
Yeah, but no, you're crazy. The Bucks are not finishing below the top 3. No way.
And then I have Miami at 6.
So Miami will have to go through the. Oh no, it's the top 6 that make the playoffs. My bad. So you have Miami facing Philly in the first round.
Let's see, 6.
Because it goes 1-8, 2-7, 3-6,
3-6. Yeah. So yeah, Philadelphia versus Miami. I think that'd be a nice series. I always love watching Jimmy Butler and James Harden duke it out 1-on-1.
Miami took out Philadelphia in 6 games last year.
True. And then my play-in tournament is at the 7, Brooklyn.
What?
I don't think Kyrie is going to play.
Okay. And who do you have as the number 8 seed?
Atlanta.
Ay. Oh, good Lord. No. I got Milwaukee at the 1. Boston at the 2 seed. I got Brooklyn at the 3 seed. With Kevin Durant back and Kyrie. I'm going to trust Kyrie.
I don't trust him at all.
Maybe I'm making a mistake, but as of right now, once we make these picks, you can't change them. So
I know.
I got Milwaukee. I got Boston. I got Brooklyn. Philly. I'm doing this part of the seeding on purpose. I got Philly coming in at the 4 seed, and I got Cleveland coming in at the 5 seed. I want to see those two teams face off in the playoffs. I thought for a period of time we were going to get it last year until the Cavaliers lost 8 of 11 games down the stretch.
I mean, we did have a lot of injuries way back then.
Right. Injuries were also a key factor, which we'll circle back to Donovan Mitchell because the injuries play a factor in this and why I'm excited about this. But like I said earlier, although the Cavaliers lost all 4 regular season games against Philadelphia, from what I saw, like the point margin, the margin of victory for Philadelphia got smaller and smaller and smaller in each game. I think their last 2 margins of victory in Cleveland were like by 4, so not much. And especially in the last game of the season series, which I was at that game, it felt like the intensity and the animosity was increasing throughout the game. And like it felt like the crowd was really getting into it. I was there with my cousin Aaron, and I turned to him a couple points during the game. I'm like, "Do you think a team has ever gotten a technical foul because of stuff the crowd has said?" Like the home crowd, I should say.
If that were the case, then wouldn't the Knicks have gotten one for all that Trae Young shit?
True. Or you know what I mean, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I understand. Philly won all 4 games, but there were just elements from what I saw last season that made me think, yeah, I see a rivalry possibly developing here.
Yes, I completely agree.
And for obvious reasons, I think we have a rivalry forming with the Atlanta Hawks.
Yes.
Who I have coming in right behind the Cavs at the number 6 seed. So let's see. I've got Milwaukee, Boston, Brooklyn, Philadelphia, Cleveland, Atlanta. I got Miami. No, Miami coming in at the 7 seed through the play-in tournament because I think they are going to drop off. And then with the number 8 seed, I could. Okay, fine. I can't leave Chicago out. I mean,
You can't.
No,
They're a good team.
they are. Maybe their playoff appearance last season, like their traditional playoff appearance, was a little bit of a fluke, though, because they did get dismantled by the Milwaukee Bucks in the playoffs.
I put that up to inexperience.
So
at least for Zach LaVine and Lonzo Ball, DeMar DeRozan has playoff experience.
Right, I get that, but the Eastern Conference is so loaded.
Oh my God, the Eastern Conference is one of those stacked things. That's why it's hard to pick the 4 play-in teams, and that's why I don't want to leave any team off except for the Knicks because they're terrible.
Yeah, I mean, think about this. I know Detroit was one of the worst teams in the Eastern Conference last season, but they've made some improvements. So
yeah, that's why my 9 and 10 is Toronto and Detroit.
Right, like we forgot about Toronto last year.
Especially because, they had Rookie of the Year, Scotty Barnes. They have Pascal Siakam, who I'm completely sold on is at least an all-star talent or level talent or future all-star level talent.
I'm on the fence about that one, but I do understand why one can make that argument. And they also have Fred VanVleet.
And OG Anunoby.
Right. So that's the thing. Like, you and I may end up having the correct 8 teams, but who knows? Maybe Boston ends up with the number 1 seed, and Philadelphia.
That was my other option. It was like, Chicago or Boston. They're both stacked.
Right. So, like, maybe you and I do have the right 8 teams, because I don't think you and I disagree on what 8 teams are going to be in the playoffs. I think we just disagree essentially on the order.
This is how people back in like 2014 to 2018 argued about the Western Conference, back when the Western Conference was completely stacked. Even though in that span of time, only 2 teams made the finals out of the West. Then again, only 2 teams made the finals out of the East in that same span.
Right. Golden
State and San Antonio for the West, and Miami and Cleveland for the East.
Correct. Because Miami and San Antonio met for 2 consecutive years.
2013 and 2014.
Correct. And then 2015.
And then 2018 was Cleveland versus Golden State.
Which I bet you after we made the trade for Donovan Mitchell, I bet you if you looked on the SeatGeek app, prices for that Warriors game probably went up.
Oh, easily. And as much as I'd love to see the Warriors in Cleveland, I don't think I could stop myself from booing at them. I have been a firm Warriors hater since 2015, and it's not the reason. Everyone thinks like, oh, you're just a Steph hater. I'm like, I never gave a shit about Steph. Draymond Green is the reason I hate the Warriors.
That's fair. Actually, Clay, if I had to choose a favorite player on the Warriors, it is Klay Thompson.
During those 4 years, Klay Thompson, but currently only because he was a former draft pick of the Cavs, and just because I've always liked the kid, Andrew Wiggins.
Fair.
I love Wiggins. Yeah, I don't like that you're in Golden State, but it's all right in my book.
Anyway, we can tie this back into Donovan Mitchell, actually, because that's going to be a really interesting backcourt matchup when the Warriors come.
The Splash Brothers take on Spygar.
Yes, I love it. You actually used the nickname I came up with.
Hey, I like that. As soon as I saw your hashtag, I'm like, oh my God, that is genius.
Yeah, it's a play off of like Spy Car.
Or Spider.
Yeah, I mean, Spider is Donovan Mitchell's nickname. So, getting back to that, and don't worry, we will get to combat sports. We're we're just spending a lot longer on the NBA aspect than I thought, but that's okay.
Yes.
There's a lot to unpack with this, so just stick with us. But there were too many times down the stretch last season, and you can chalk this up to key injuries from various players like Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, whatever. But there were too many times last season, or too many games, rather, where it felt like down the stretch of said games, Darius Garland was just having to do everything to try and get us back into the game. Like, I'll give you an example. The late season game against Chicago, not the one you and I were at, the late season one, where we lost 98-94. It just felt like down the stretch, I'm like, somebody go help Darius Garland. Like, you know, somebody go be that second scorer that we need. And I just felt like we never got it, you know?
Did Isaac Okoro not score 10 points that game? Probably not.
I can look, now that you mention it, I'm going to look.
I want to say we've had this discussion before, and the answer is a disappointing no.
I'm going to look this up. I need to look this up now. If I can. Let's see. Going to the Cavs schedule. No, I can't look it up on the ESPN app. I'll have to go to ESPN.com to do it. Because I tried going to the ESPN app, and it said that I had to, or it only gave me their schedule for this coming season. So let's see. Because I'm like, I'm curious about this. I don't think Okoro scored double digits in that game. I don't think so.
That's gotta be one of those Instagram fan pages. Like, did Isaac Okoro score 10 points? Because I used to see a lot of those with hockey.
Yeah, you're right about that. Let's see. Darn it, that's the 22. It took me to the Cavaliers website, but it took me to the 2022-2023 schedule. Let's see. Let me try going to ESPN.com. Here we go. 2021-2022 schedule. All right, regular season. All right, it was March 26, 98-94 against the Bulls. Let's go to box score. Okay. Lauri Markkanen had 14 points.
Wow.
Isaac Okoro, he had 6.
Oh boy. That's our starting small forward.
Evan Mobley had 9 points.
Oh, he didn't even eclipse 10.
No, but he did have 11 rebounds.
Okay.
Darius Garland had 28 points. Karis LeVert had 17 points. So
he was our secondary guy.
Yeah, those were our starting 5 that night. Markkanen, Okoro, Mobley, Garland, LeVert. And then off the bench, Kevin Love gave us 5 points. So
Kevin, you could do better than that, Kevin.
Lamar Stevens gave us 13 points.
Ooh. Wow.
Cedi Osman, in 6 minutes of action, gave us 0.
Damn, he must have been having an off night.
And Dylan Windler had 2 points. So, but that just further enhances my point. We did not have that second scorer where it was like, okay, Darius needs help. Let's go to this guy so he can carry the load for a bit, right?
Yeah, and I think that's why we now have Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, I agree.
Be that secondary scorer.
Right.
So that Darius Garland doesn't have to carry the majority of the workload.
Exactly. And obviously they're going to be our starting backcourt. That's a given. You don't bring Donovan Mitchell off the bench.
Well, unless somehow Klay Thompson could come to the Cavs.
No.
Yeah, it's impossible, but it would be funny.
It would.
It would be funny.
But the cool thing is, even though you have Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland as your starters, you can play them once the game gets going. You can play them you can play one of them at a time, or you can have both of them play at the same time. Like, there could be situations where, because we still have Ricky Rubio, maybe you have Darius Garland and Ricky Rubio out there. Maybe
or Donovan Mitchell and Ricky Rubio.
There you go. So this move definitely gives the Cavaliers options.
Wasn't that a backcourt with the Jazz, Ricky Rubio and Donovan Mitchell?
That is correct. And they had playoff experience.
Ah, there we go.
Granted, with Utah, they didn't get much playoff experience because the Jazz, every time they make it to the playoffs, they fall flat on their face. So,
well, to be fair, Ricky Rubio's no John Stockton and Rudy Gobert's no Karl Malone.
Think about what the Jazz are doing, though. They traded Rudy Gobert, their longtime All-Star center. They've traded Donovan Mitchell, their longtime starting point guard, All-Star starting point guard. And who's the general manager of the Utah Jazz? It's
Danny Ainge, the same guy who built, rebuilt, and rebuilt the Boston Celtics.
Correct. So, and think about it. When Danny Ainge was the general manager of the Boston Celtics, he hired Brad Stevens to be their head coach, and he gave him like a 5 or 6 year contract. He did the same thing in Utah. He hired Celtics assistant Will Hardy to be the new head coach, and I think he got like a 6-year deal, I believe.
Sounds about right.
So this is on par with a Danny Ainge type of offseason.
Yes, getting rid of people that, are going to rebuild for the long term. He's playing chess. Everyone else is playing checkers. Think about what was it? Not Billie Jean King. That's a tennis player. The general manager of the Nets when they made that horrible trade for Pierce and Garnett.
Yeah, I don't remember who you're talking about, but yeah, you're right. Like, why are you making that type of trade with Danny Ainge? Yeah, it screwed the Nets over until of course they got Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
But
although I would say they're still not out of the rough on that one, mostly because they haven't done much of anything in the playoffs.
No, they haven't. You're right about that. But think about it. We'll transition into combat sports, and I can make this transition quite easily. You got Danny Ainge coming in to replace the old regime. Danny Ainge is the new regime. He brought in his own head coach. He got rid of the players that weren't part of his group. He wants to make the Utah Jazz the way he wants to. So he wants to trade more of the old players like Jordan Clarkson, Mike Conley, Bojan Bogdanovic. You get my point.
Yes.
It's the same thing in WWE. Vince McMahon, he ran WWE a certain way. He got rid of wrestlers like Braun Strowman, Bray Wyatt, Malachi Black, Adam Cole, various other guys. There's a whole list. And throughout his tenure, especially late, a lot of the matches that we saw on Monday Night Raw were, oh, surprise roll-up, or, oh, the match ended in disqualification, and it's yada, yada, yada. Well,
Yes, the surprise roll-up. The most, or the, was it, how does Simon Miller say it? The most devastating move in all of sports entertainment.
No, it's the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment. That's how it is.
Thank you.
Shout out Simon Miller. Shout out to everybody from the What Culture Wrestling team.
And shout out to Cultaholic Wrestling, because you're just as important.
Yes. Yes, you are. You gave us an idea that we are going to be implementing probably this coming Tuesday. I know we
were supposed to do it before before AEW All Out and WWE Clash at the Castle, which I found out is not Clash of Champions, so now they're doing 2 clashes.
They're not, as of right now, they're not doing Clash of Champions.
Oh.
So.
Okay.
Yeah. It's weird. They have their staple pay-per-views like WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Money in the Bank, Extreme Rules, and Survivor Series. But the other ones kind of change in and out. Like
Hell in a Cell?
Oh, yeah. Hell in a Cell.
Yep. TLC is another.
No, they actually did not do TLC last year. They replaced that. They replaced that with a pay-per-view they called Day One.
Huh. See, I remember back in the old days when it was Monday Night Raw's War, Friday Night SmackDown, and of course, Sunday Night Heat.
But that's the problem I have with WWE is that they do a pay-per-view every single month. So it's like, it feels like feuds don't get a lot of time to really build up and get you invested, you know?
Yeah, I think Triple H can fix that.
Here's the thing. I don't think Triple H is going to get rid of doing that system of doing a pay-per-view every month. I think that's like a built-in thing for WWE. You know?
Yeah.
Like, that feels like something that's never going to change. Although I do agree with you, I think they should cut down on the amount of pay-per-views they do. You know?
Yeah.
But we did just have Clash at the Castle in
Today.
In Cardiff, Wales. Roman Reigns retained the undisputed Universal Championship. Actually, no championships changed hands at Clash of the Castle.
I was shocked. I had thought at least one would.
Nope, none. Gunther,
so maybe they wait until Survivor Series then to change the belts, because we need to get one belt off of Roman Reigns so that, when they do the WWE draft, one of the two, brands has at least a champion for both regular and tag teams, because the Usos have both tag team belts.
Right.
What sense does that make?
It's because they wanted to make the Bloodline the most dominant faction in WWE. And just have them rule over WWE with an iron fist. That's why they're doing it.
No wonder why The Rock wants back. He wants to show his own faction. Why no one seriously, if you in WWE 2K22, if you play as any member of the Bloodline, Roman, the Usos, and that's pretty much it, because
nope, that's not it actually.
In 2K22, those are the only 3 in the Bloodline.
Okay, well,
other than The Rock, but
spoiler alert for those of you who have not yet watched Clash of the Castle. So this is a spoiler alert. So just warning you now. We have a 4th member of the Bloodline now. Solo Sikoa.
Oh.
He is the brother of the Usos, I believe.
Oh,
And
so Rikishi had a third son then.
I believe so, yes.
Because the Usos are the sons of Rikishi.
Correct. He's the one that cost Drew McIntyre the match against Roman Reigns today.
And there's more than 4 members of the bloodline, right? The Rock's daughter, both part of the bloodline.
I know, but I'm saying within WWE. Currently on the main roster. That's what I'm.
Oh yeah, because Simone Reign is NXT.
Simone Reign. Oh yeah, with Triple H now in control, he's calling up a lot of NXT guys. Like Dexter Lumis has been called up, and he's been terrorizing The Miz. He actually kidnapped The Miz on an episode of Monday Night Raw like 2 weeks ago.
Yep. How do you kidnap The Miz? That's so funny.
And yet, here's the weird thing, is on the following week's episode, Adam Pearce, who I guess, makes the matches and whatnot, goes, Miz, Dexter Lumis is out of jail because you didn't press charges.
So that's going to be a Hell in a Cell match, isn't it?
I mean, we already had the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, so that's not
fine. Steel cage match, Extreme Rules.
Hey, we'll get to a steel cage stipulation in a little bit that should have happened.
I know.
Because we're in just a sec, we're going to switch to AEW All Out. But yes, Roman Reigns retained his Universal Championship, or Undisputed Universal Championship. We had Liv Morgan retain the SmackDown Women's Championship against Shayna Baszler. And we had Gunther retain the Intercontinental Championship against Sheamus in one of the most physical, hard-hitting matches I have ever seen. So, by far, this was.
We might get another one of those tomorrow.
Yes, transitioning to
Moxley versus fucking Punk too.
Yes,
Why?
We are getting CM Punk versus Jon Moxley too. I don't know if you saw this in the AEW chat in our Discord server that we have, the Combat Sports fans, but I actually sent a message in that chat, in the AEW chat, that it actually wasn't even supposed to be Punk versus Moxley. I took a screenshot of this from John Alba from September 1st, 2022 at 12:37 p.m. John Alba wrote, Tony Khan says CM Punk and FTR were scheduled to face Will Ospreay and Aussie Open at the Forbidden Door pay-per-view. So not at All Out. But yes, Punk and FTR were scheduled to face Will Ospreay and Aussie Open at the Forbidden Door pay-per-view in Chicago before Punk got injured.
So I'm guessing that would have set up a storyline where Punk takes over the Pinnacle from MJF.
Most likely.
It'd be an interesting storyline, because FTR, Wardlow they have a trios tag match at All Out against, I believe it's Jay Lethal and the Motor City Machine Guns.
Yes, from Impact Wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're part of Ring of Honor, actually, from what I heard right now.
That I cannot confirm because I don't know for sure, but I know them from Impact Wrestling.
I think a lot of people do.
Yeah, I think they might still be in Impact Wrestling. We'll look it up afterwards and confirm if they're in Ring of Honor or not. So you might be right.
Yeah.
But we have a lot of matches happening at All Out.
Oh my God. 3 on the pre-show alone.
Correction, 4.
We got a 4th.
Yes, there are 15
Lord.
matches total. All right.
Tony, are you trying to make me too tired to go to work in the morning?
All right. So we have 3 championship matches on the pre-show. Okay? 3
championship matches. What the?
Yes, 3 championship matches. So All Out 0 Hour, that's what they call it. The pre-show matches are Sammy Guevara and Ty Mello against Ortiz and Ruby Soho for the AAA Mixed Tag Team Championships.
I guess they're doing a 3rd match in 2 weeks.
Yes, because Soho and Ortiz won on Rampage, so we're doing the championship match at the pay-per-view tomorrow. We're doing Hook versus Angelo Parker for the FTW Championship. So that match should be over in around about 5 minutes. So nothing long.
Yeah, who the hell's Angelo Parker anyways?
He's part of the Jericho Appreciation Society.
Oh! Oh,
Yeah.
He must be like the least known member.
I think he's the guy that you see combing his hair.
Oh, is that the guy that always stands with Matt Menard as Matt Menard does his like crazy talk?
Yes.
You know, the whole sports entertainer.
Yes. I think Matt Menard's the one people call Daddy Magic.
Yes, he is. By the way, when we were at AEW in Cleveland, there was someone holding up a sign that says, "Can you be my Daddy Magic?"
I missed that.
Matt Menard put it on his Instagram, so that's where I saw it. I'm like, I was there.
And then the 4th match is the Forbidden Door. Yeah, it's been busted open again because we're getting Eddie Kingston, despite being involved in an incident with Sammy Guevara, which caused that feud and subsequent match, which was going to happen at the pay-per-view, to be scrapped. They had a backstage incident. We're not going to get into the details of it because that's not important. But instead, we're getting Eddie Kingston against Ishii and this will be their 2nd time. I don't remember the first time they fought, but from what I understand, Ishii won that first match.
It might have been at Forbidden Door.
No, it was not.
Oh.
It's Tomohiro Ishii. There we go.
Oh.
So that's your pre-show match. You got and I forgot the All Atlantic Championship match. Kip Sabian versus
the
Pac.
Bastard Pac.
Correct. So again, that's the All Atlantic Championship. Pac versus Kip Sabian. FTW Championship. Hook versus Angelo Parker. Mixed Tag Team Championships. Sammy Guevara and Ty Mello against Ortiz and Ruby Soho. And then you have Tomohiro Ishii, or Ishii, I think is how you actually say it, my bad, against Eddie Kingston. All right. Now it's time.
And that's just the pre-show, by the way.
Correct.
Now we're getting to the main card, which I believe is 11 matches.
Yes, 11 matches. So you got Bryan Danielson versus Chris Jericho. You've got the interim Women's World Championship match. Toni Storm, who was scheduled to take the belt off of Thunder Rosa at All Out.
Wait, she was gonna take the belt off her? Huh.
Yes.
Oh, that would have been interesting.
So you've got Toni Storm against Jamie Hayter against Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, which it was hilarious. When she was having her match here in Cleveland, there was a kid behind us. He's like, "You are the big..." He tells me, he goes, "You are the biggest Britt Baker simp I have ever seen." I'm like, okay, so?
And then we got the longest, and then for the fourth member of this Fatal 4, we got the longest reigning AEW Women's Champion, Hikaru Shida, the Shining Samurai.
She's currently a champion in a Japanese wrestling company. I don't remember what.
It's like the Regina D champion, Die championship or whatever.
Yeah, so most likely she's not winning. But anyway, after that, you've got House of Black, Malachi Black, Brody King, Buddy Matthews against the unlikely trio of Darby Allin, Sting, and Miro. You've got the TBS Championship, Jade Cargill against Athena. Wardlow and FTR against Jay Lethal and the Motor City Machine Guns. You got the World Tag Team Championships, Swerve in Our Glory against the Acclaimed. You've got the World Trios Championship Tournament Final, the Elite versus Dark Order with Hangman Adam Page. And then we have Ricky Starks versus Powerhouse Hobbs. We've got the Casino Ladder match where the winner gets a world title match. It is Claudio Castagnoli, the Ring of Honor World Champion, versus Wheeler Yuta, the Ring of Honor Pure Champion, versus Penta El Cero Miedo, versus Rey Fenix, versus Rush, versus Andrade, versus Dante Martin, versus a Joker. MJF.
Which I have a theory. No. Jeff Hardy.
No way.
It has to. It's a ladder match. Who made ladder matches big? Jeff Hardy. Or it could be Matt Hardy.
No, he's going into some type of storyline with Private Party. And then we have Jungle Boy versus Christian Cage, which we're going to dive deeper into that match specifically in a sec. And then you have the AEW World Championship match. Jon Moxley versus the best in the world, the Cult of Personality, CM Punk. So, but I want to dive more into the Christian Cage Jungle Boy match, because I think out of every match on the pay-per-view, that's the one I'm most excited about. Seriously.
I have my own match I'm most excited about, and that's that House of Black versus Miro, Sting, and Darby. Also, since we had a lot of debuts at last year's All Out, do you think we see a similar turnout of debuts?
No.
Do you think we see any debuts?
I don't know about debuts, but I think we get at least one return, and that will be the Joker, MJF. I think MJF is gonna play spoiler to the championship match. I think the Joker is gonna be another return. Like I said, I want it to be Jeff Hardy. He's been out of it for too long. He needs to come back, damn it. You know why he's been out, though, right? It's not just injury.
Well, yeah, the rehab. But yeah, I don't think rehab takes from June all the way till September. Or not June to September, May to September.
You know who else I think the Joker could be?
Who?
You know it's all about that boom. Adam Cole,
you think Adam Cole's gonna return? I could see that.
I could very well see that happening.
I do think I see a debut based on like a theory that's been going on. So during that House of Black versus Miro, Darby, and Sting match, I think Julia Hart is gonna play a big part in antagonizing the three. And then we get the debut of the one woman allowed to touch the Redeemer, Lana.
Wow. Okay, I can see that.
I think she comes down and bitch slaps the hell out of Julia Hart.
You know, before we get into Jungle Boy Christian Cage, because for me that's the match I'm most excited about, as I said. But I understand why the trios match between House of Black and against Darby Allin, Sting, and Miro.
Especially because, like, you said it was an unlikely trio, and I wanted to kind of go over that because Darby and Miro had a feud over the TNT Championship.
Right. They haven't.
Darby had it. Miro took it from him.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I see you have read up on AEW. I have taught you well, son.
Yes.
Yes, that is a Star Wars reference I was trying to make there.
Yes.
I don't know if I succeeded or not, but whatever. I tried.
But yes, Darby and Miro had a rivalry, and I don't know how much Sting was involved in that, but it always seems like anytime one person is just getting beat up by multiple guys, it always seems like Darby and Sting to the rescue. Like when the Andrade family offices was beating up on Matt Hardy, who was the first to Matt Hardy's rescue? Darby and Sting.
That is true. You're right.
And then Jeff Hardy made his debut after that.
Yes. But here's the thing. I'll tell you. I've really enjoyed this feud between Christian Cage and Jungle Boy.
Oh, I agree. It's been fantastic.
Sorry, go ahead.
With Christian Cage being mad at Jungle Boy for losing the tag team championships, then taking Luchasaurus, then Luchasaurus turning on Christian Cage when he saw Jungle Boy with the chair.
Right. And you and I watched Double or Nothing last year. That was our first AEW pay-per-view together. And I was trying to help tell you, like, leading up to it, you could smell a heel turn coming from Christian Cage.
Oh yeah. That was this year, actually, not last year. Yes. Last year didn't have a Double or Nothing.
No, it did. Yeah. Double or Nothing is one of their staples. So is All Out. So is Full Gear. And so is Revolution. Those are their big four. Forbidden Door, they did that for the first time this year.
And I think they're going to continue doing that.
I wouldn't be surprised. Hey, by the way, Tony Khan, bring AEW Revolution to Cleveland.
Please.
Do it. But anyway, so we were watching Double or Nothing. The Jurassic Express retained their tag team championships. But here's the thing. At the end of the match, Christian Cage puts Jungle Boy up on his shoulders, and I'm like, oh my God, here comes the heel turn. Because there's a move, I believe it's called the electric chair, where a wrestler gets gets his opponent up on their shoulders, and they do some sort of maneuver out of it.
That just anytime I see someone put someone up on their shoulders, I'm thinking, oh my God, are they gonna reverse power bomb?
I thought maybe Christian Cage was gonna turn it into a power bomb or something, or
either that or he was gonna hit the world's weirdest kill switch.
Yeah, but he did.
I want to see him hit the kill switch on Edge,
but
I don't know why.
Well, you're not gonna see that because Edge is in WWE and Christian Cage.
Well, no. I feel like Christian, when he left WWE, he should have at least hit the kill switch on Edge. But I heard Edge is doing pretty good for himself. Got a new tag partner in Rey Mysterio.
Yes, he did have a tag team match with Rey Mysterio, but we can talk about that later.
Yeah.
We're on AEW already.
Yeah.
We did actually have a comment earlier, coincidentally from my dad. He's like, Chris, I really want to hear your take on the Blockbuster trade. and what you think the backcourt will look like this season. We already talked about that earlier in the show.
Yeah, we did have
A lengthy
a lot to say about the trade, and even on the Sports Generals last night or on Thursday, we had a lot to talk about that trade.
Correct. So you'll have to watch the show from earlier. Wow, we're already at over an hour on this show.
Yeah.
But whatever, we're not slowing down. But
Either will AEW All Out tomorrow. I'm just saying. Better
no,
pack some breathing machines. You're going to need them.
I know. And even before we start watching AEW All Out, we're doing our fantasy draft.
Oh, we are doing it tomorrow? I thought we were moving it to Tuesday because of John.
I believe we're going to keep it tomorrow.
All right. I would just double check with Colin to make sure.
Okay, I will. Which that's a little bit of a side conversation, but anyway. Oh yeah. So Christian Cage ended up hitting the kill switch on Jungle Boy a few weeks later after they did a ladder match. It was the Young Bucks, Jurassic Express, and I believe it was
originally supposed to be the Hardys, but Jeff had to get into some DUI trouble.
Right. I think the third team was Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs.
Oh, that's right.
I think
because
so.
Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs was part of the match at Double or Nothing alongside Swerve and Our Glory.
Right. So, yeah, I think that ladder match was Jurassic Express, Young Bucks, and Powerhouse Hobbs and Ricky Starks. Either way, Young Bucks ended up winning the match, and Christian Cage is checking on Jungle Boy after the match. He pulls him back into the ring and hits the kill switch. And Jungle Boy was off TV for a few weeks while Christian Cage cut scathing promos like, I never wanted to be your dad. You had a father, but your dad is dead. He basically said that in one of his promos. I'm not kidding.
Oh, yeah. No, Christian Cage just went scorched earth.
Yes. And, throughout this feud, Jungle Boy tried to literally kill Christian Cage by driving a car into him.
Didn't he also step on his hand?
I don't remember, but with the way this feud has gone, I'm surprised this is just a straight-up one-on-one contest. In fact, there are no stipulations on any of the matches. None. There's no steel cage match. There's not a no disqualification match.
There is one match technically with a stipulation.
The ladder match.
Yes. And it's just ladder matches are important.
Yeah. But I'm saying, last year, we had that steel cage match between the Young Bucks and the
Lucha Brothers. And then there was the Casino Battle Royale.
Right. But I just find that crazy. There are no stipulations on any of the matches. They're all just regular one-on-one. All the matches that are not the ladder match, they're all regular standard matches. Nothing.
Set for one fall.
Yeah, they're all set for one fall. Which the reason that's announced at the start of every match is because you can have a 2 out of 3 falls count.
Yes, like we saw with Danielson versus Garcia.
Which, okay. Before we move, I want to get to that match because I want to also preview that match. But let me just say this. Christian Cage versus Jungle Boy absolutely should have been a steel cage match.
And I agree.
Or something. If it wasn't steel cage, then maybe...
Falls count anywhere?
Yeah, falls count anywhere. No DQ. Something. It just feels like doing a regular one-on-one match set for one fall just doesn't fit the feud.
Yeah. And I have a feeling if they did a no disqualification match, you know who would end up showing up to help Jungle Boy beat the shit out of Christian Cage.
Here's the thing, though. Even though it's a regular one-on-one match, Luchasaurus is going to get involved in some way. You know that's going to happen.
Oh, of course. I mean, he's just trying to protect Jungle Boy.
We'll see about that. He may end up turning on Jungle Boy and allowing Christian Cage to win this match. You never know.
That is the worry. That is the worry. But as far as I'm concerned, Jurassic Express is back.
Jungle Boy has done a fantastic job in this storyline, though, as a singles competitor.
I mean, yes, he has been cutting some really good promos because he never really got a chance early on to, like, cut any promos. As Max Caster once put, Jungle Boy stutters whenever he cuts a promo.
Yeah, which, interestingly, on the Go Home episode of Dynamite, him and Christian Cage did a sit-down conversation with Jim Ross, and Jungle Boy said, in this match on Sunday, you're not facing Jungle Boy. You're facing Jack Perry. That's his real name.
I'm wondering what that is gonna is. Is Jack Perry a different wrestler than Jungle Boy? How is Jack Perry gonna approach Jack Perry?
I don't know.
As opposed to Jungle Boy.
So
it's like all the different personas of Chris Jericho. You know, you got Le Champion, the Influencer, the Painmaker, Lionheart, the Wizard. I know he hasn't done it in AEW yet, but it's annoyed me that he hasn't brought out Y2J.
All right. Well, I guess we'll transition to Bryan Danielson versus Chris Jericho now. So this storyline came about because Danielson was originally feuding with another member of the Jericho Appreciation Society, Daniel Garcia.
But really, it has been always brought about from the whole feud between Chris Jericho and the Blackpool Combat Club plus Eddie Kingston.
Right. It started as Chris Jericho against Eddie Kingston. Then it turned into Jericho Appreciation Society against Blackpool Combat Club, correct? And it was good. It was, from what I know, it was supposed to break off into Sammy Guevara versus Eddie Kingston. But again, Eddie Kingston and Sammy Guevara got into a backstage incident, so Eddie was suspended for a period of time, and they dropped the feud. They dropped the match. But both are still appearing on All Out, just on the pre-show, as we mentioned way earlier. But, and then we got Danielson versus Garcia. And Danielson's like, hey, Daniel Garcia, you were one of the first guys I mentioned when we were talking about creating the Blackpool Combat Club. I wanted you to be a part of this group. And you heard Seaboss, you heard it when we were at All Out, when we were at Dynamite in Cleveland. When Daniel Garcia was out there, what was every fan in Wolstein Center chanting?
You're a wrestler.
Bingo. Bingo. Every single fan was chanting, you're a wrestler. Every single fan. So that's how this came about. And then, oh my God, their promos that set up this match were ridiculous. Danielson was like, if we asked Stu Hart, the guy who essentially created Lionheart Chris Jericho, who's the better wrestler? Lionheart Chris Jericho or the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson? Who do you think he would say? If we asked Owen Hart, your hero, who is the better wrestler? Lionheart Chris Jericho or the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson?
Yes, 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 yes.
And then here was the ultimate line. He said, if we wrestled a match in Cleveland between the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, and Lionheart Chris Jericho, who do you think would win that match? And Jericho goes, you want the Lionheart Chris Jericho versus American Dragon Bryan Danielson? Well, you got it. And everybody's like, oh my God, we're getting that match right now. And then Jericho, as he likes to do, just broke our hearts because he goes, September 4th at All Out.
And then Daniel Garcia pushed him.
Yes. No,
and then the fans chanted, you deserve it.
No, that was actually Garcia pushed him down before Jericho and Danielson broke out into that promo.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Because remember, Jericho said, but until then, watch your back, Danielson, because you never know when I'm going to hit you. And that's when Jake Hagar came in and just wrecked him.
Yeah.
So then on this go-home show that we just had on Wednesday, Danielson and Jake Hagar had a match. Okay? Danielson won. It was clean. Afterwards, Jericho goes running it. Jericho, who was on commentary, he comes out to the ring with a steel chair like he's going to strike Danielson. But who came out to stop him?
The guy who had just sworn loyalty to the Jericho Appreciation Society, Daniel the Dragon Slayer Garcia.
That is correct, because right before we had the Danielson-Hagar match, we cut to the back, and Garcia says to Jericho, oh, I love you. You're the greatest person ever. Like, I'm pledging my loyalty to the Jericho Appreciation Society. I'm so sorry, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. So, Daniel Garcia is going to get involved in this match on Sunday in some way.
Whether that's in favor of Jericho or Danielson, that remains to be seen.
And here's the interesting thing. I believe next week on Dynamite, in the Fallout show, because that's what the show after a pay-per-view is called, is the Fallout show.
Well, or as WWE calls it, Backlash.
No, that's a different pay-per-view.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. The show after a pay-per-view is called the Fallout show.
Ah.
But I believe they're doing the Ring of Honor Pure Championship match between Wheeler Yuta and Daniel Garcia.
And Wheeler Yuta is part of the Blackpool Combat Club.
Right.
So it wouldn't make sense for Garcia to join the Blackpool Combat Club if he has a match after the pay-per-view.
Well, that's how Wheeler Yuta actually got into the Blackpool Combat Club, is because he had a match with Jon Moxley. Moxley won, but Yuta was so good in that match, and he was basically able to hold his own, that they allowed Yuta to join the BCC. So maybe it could be the same thing where if Daniel Garcia has a really good showing against Wheeler Yuta, maybe he is able to join the Blackpool Combat Club. But something big is happening on Sunday with this Danielson-Jericho match. Something big is happening with Daniel Garcia. It has to, right?
Yes. Either that or... Now, there is one member, I guess honorary member of the Blackpool Combat Club that Bryan Danielson does not like, and that is Eddie Kingston.
Correct. What, you think Eddie Kingston's going to get involved in this?
No, well, not Kingston. Not Eddie Kingston. I think something's going to happen between Danielson, Kingston, and the Blackpool Combat Club that alienates Danielson which is prime territory for Daniel Garcia to say, hey, why don't you join us? We'll get revenge for you.
I don't see that happening. Eddie Kingston's not really a part of the Blackpool Combat Club.
He's affiliated with it. He's not part of it. That's why I said he's an honorary member, because, he's had tag team matches with Jon Moxley.
Yeah.
Anytime, like I noticed during that Quake by the Lake match between Jericho and Moxley, when the Blackpool Combat Club came in, to even the odds against the Jericho Appreciation Society, who was there with them?
Eddie. You're right.
Eddie Kingston.
Yeah, but while that is true, and yes, Eddie was part of the Blood and Guts match.
And the Anarchy of the Arena match.
Right, I get that, but I wouldn't say, I wouldn't say he's an honorary member of the BCC. I hear what you're saying, though. I don't disagree, but I don't agree either, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Like, I'm leaning more towards the disagree side, though.
I mean, what is your honest take on why Eddie Kingston isn't like an honorary member of the the Blackpool Combat Club?
Because, like, whenever you see the Blackpool Combat Club together, it's usually Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, Bryan Danielson, and Jon Moxley. Like, you saw their picture recently where it was all of them together, right? With William Regal. Eddie Kingston wasn't part of that. It was just William Regal, Danielson, Moxley, Yuta, and Castagnoli.
Right. That's the other thing. I'm wondering why he wouldn't join the Blackpool. Moxley would have him join in a heartbeat.
Here's the thing, though. You said it earlier. Him and Danielson do not get along with each other. Him and Claudio Castagnoli, they don't really like each other either.
So basically, the only one who likes Eddie Kingston is Moxley.
Correct. I don't know Wheeler Yuta's feelings about Eddie Kingston, but yeah, I wouldn't say.
I'm guessing neutral.
Yeah, I would guess neutral as well. But yeah, I don't think. That's why I would lean more towards saying Eddie is not part of the Blackpool Combat Club, or like not an.
I would just say he's affiliated with them, as in, if Moxley needs him, he's there.
Sure. Actually, on that note, since we're talking about Eddie Kingston, after that barbed wire everywhere match, I thought they were going to continue the feud with him and Jericho. And
I think they're just dropping it to the Jericho Appreciation Society is going to constantly run in with the Blackpool Combat Club and Eddie Kingston and Ruby Soho.
I think Eddie Kingston should have ultimately won that feud against Jericho. I think he would have benefited more, but whatever. But here, you know my feelings about this. I would have done one more match between Jericho and Eddie Kingston.
All out in a steel cage, and if anyone affiliated with either party gets involved, the other automatically wins, which could lead to a fourth match, which therein lies the problem.
All right. Exactly. You went over the details. I don't need to go over it again. Clearly. All right. So we've talked about Danielson Jericho. We've talked about Christian Cage and Jungle Boy.
We've talked about House of Black versus Miro Darby and saying, how about we talk the main event? Moxley Punk 2.
Yes. So clearly that the first match we saw in Cleveland, that wasn't meant to be a legit match. It was
It was all for show.
Right. But
originally, from what I heard, it was supposed to be the actual match. Moxley didn't like the idea of it, though. It was either Moxley or Punk. One of the two didn't like the idea of having that match happen on Dynamite rather than a pay-per-view.
no, I think it was Moxley who suggested doing the match in Cleveland instead of it. I believe so. Either way, though, so they had the match. It lasted what, like 5 minutes?
3 minutes? 3.
Did I hear someone say 3 minutes? That's a WWE reference right there.
Yeah.
I think it's Eric Bischoff. But either way, so Punk injured his foot, and
Keyword injured.
Right. Punk or Moxley jumped on him, and actually we thought they were he hit him with 2 paradigm shifts. No, those weren't paradigm shifts. They were called Death Riders, actually. Yeah, Death Rider. I think there might be more to the name of that move. I'm not 100% sure. I can look it up afterwards. But either way, so Moxley wins, and going into last week's Dynamite, we did not have a main event for All Out. We didn't have a world title match. Moxley cuts this fantastic pay-per-view where he ends up saying, in my pocket, I have a contract, an open contract. I've already signed it. I want somebody to come out here and sign it, and you'll get a title shot against me at All Out. And I think everybody was expecting just a line of people, or a huge
a stampede of people trying to get to the contract first.
But that did not happen.
Instead, only one guy picked it up, and that was Ace Steel, who's affiliated with CM Punk, or at least at one point was.
Yes, he has affiliations with CM Punk, and I think he's a backstage producer for AEW, something like that. But he's the one that ended up picking up the contract. And once the commentators were like, yeah, he's affiliated with CM Punk, you're like, okay, I know where this is leading. But
right,
if you have not seen CM Punk's promo, you gotta take 15 minutes to go and watch it, because it was fantastic. You need to see it. I'll send it to you afterwards on Discord.
All right.
But ultimately, he ended up going into the crowd and talking about, this is Chicago, where the weak go to die. And people have been trying to kill me throughout my entire career. And John Moxley, you're not going to be the one that's going to succeed in that, and all this and that. So he ended up signing the contract. So yes, long story short, we are getting Punk Moxley for the world title.
Didn't he say something about John Moxley being the 3rd best John he worked with?
Yes, he did. He did that at the Dynamite before Cleveland. And if you don't know what John he's referring to.
Well, he said 3rd best, so there's 2 Johns, and I think I know both of them.
Okay.
Cena and Morrison.
I don't know about Morrison, but he was definitely referring to Cena.
Oh, and then he talked about Eddie Kingston being the 2nd best Kingston, referencing my boy, New Day leader, Kofi Kingston.
And in that same
he also referenced the Shield, saying that John Moxley was the 3rd best member of the BCC, and he's like, that's nothing new for you, referencing his time with the Shield alongside a young Seth Rollins and a young Roman Reigns, who, by the way, before the Royal Rumble this year, didn't Seth Rollins mention Moxley by name in a promo he cut against Roman?
That is correct, yeah.
He mentioned him not as Dean Ambrose, but as John Moxley.
I think he did that because Moxley actually owns the rights to the Dean Ambrose name. if I remember correctly.
I believe so. I don't think he would sue an old friend over the use of the name. That sounds kind of stupid.
Well, it would have been WWE using the name, wanting
Oh,
to use the name. So that's
fair
what
enough, fair enough.
I'm guessing. I believe the UFC fight night is actually over. Let's see, because I'm not sure. I'm not sure who won actually. It was Gon versus Tuivasa. So let's
Yes.
see. I think. Let's see. UFC. Zero Gon won by KO TKO in round 3.
Ooh, dang. That's gonna be a huge hit to Tuivasa. His momentum.
Whitaker won by unanimous decision against Marvin Vettori.
Not surprised. Marvin Vettori is not. I mean, he's decent, but from what I saw from his title fight against Adesanya at UFC 263, I wouldn't call him even top. He shouldn't even be in the top 5 of middleweights at the moment.
And then I'm not even gonna try and say this guy's first name. Imavov, somebody from France, he defeated Joaquin Buckley by unanimous decision. Those were the big 3 on the card. So,
Okay.
yeah. What were we talking about before?
Punk versus Moxley.
Oh, the Cavaliers actually just posted an hour ago. Donovan Mitchell is a Cavalier. They just posted it an hour ago on Facebook. Yep. So I guess the trade is now official.
Yep. But yeah, Punk versus Moxley. That's gonna be a good one. What other matches can we talk about on the?
Wait, we didn't finish talking about Punk Moxley. I think MJF is going to return either during the match or after the match. One of the two. MJF has to return. It makes too much sense.
It makes too much sense, and now that's really only if Punk wins, which I think is what's going to happen. I like Moxley. I respect him, but I just think that Punk losing in his hometown doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
losing the title in his hometown.
Yeah, Punk's not losing in Chicago. No way. And what they could do, actually, is have MJF return, and then a few weeks later, they're doing AEW Dynamite Grand Slam at Arthur Ashe Stadium in New York, which MJF...
Oh, they are doing a stadium show.
Yes. Yes, MJF is from New York, so you just do the title match there. MJF versus Punk, and you have MJF win.
Well, why wouldn't you do it at Full Gear?
Because what is MJF going to do before then? You're not going to bring him back and give him some feud, some filler feud. No way.
Well, no. Just have the feud build up to Full Gear. Have the feud build up to Full Gear. And maybe have, like... Remember how during Punk's feud with MJF, CM Punk would always call out MJF, and MJF would be like, no. To get to me, you have to face this guy. Why not do that, but have Punk be the one deciding, and have Punk put the members of the Pinnacle against MJF, leading to the Pinnacle becoming CM Punk's stable?
I mean... It was originally good, like I said earlier, at Forbidden Door, it was meant to be Punk and FTR against Aussie Open.
So I think the Pinnacle should become Punk's stable, and...
I'm going to disagree with you on that, because they're clearly trying to turn... During the feud with MJF, they were trying to turn Wardlow into a babyface. And based on what I've seen recently, I think AEW is trying to turn FTR babyface. Whereas
True.
I think we're actually on the verge of seeing CM Punk go heel. So
But then
that
why
would make
put
sense.
MJF against Punk if they're both heels?
Here's the thing. That maybe you have a
For an
slow
MJF
burn.
face?
No. Here's how you do it. It's a slow burn with CM Punk. So he doesn't go mega heel right away. Like, you have him slowly becoming more heel-like, but as his feud with MJF goes on. So maybe that's how you could do it leading up to Full Gear. But my guess is if they bring MJF back at All Out, they would put him right into the title program. Because that's why MJF left, because of contract and money and all that, right?
Yeah. But
So,
I feel like taking the title off of Punk way too early is not a good idea for the company. You said yourself, the one thing you liked about AEW is that they give their champions long-term reigns. Punk didn't get a chance at a long-term reign.
That's true. That's true. So you have a fair argument there. I'll give you that. But come on. Like, the way their feud was going, once Punk became champion after defeating Hangman, you knew everybody was thinking, okay, MJF is going to be the one that takes the title off of him.
There's no doubting that. I just don't want him to pull the trigger on it too early.
But again, here's the problem. You're not going to bring MJF back and say, nope, MJF, we're not going to give you a title shot right away. We're going to give you some other feud. Like, MJF's going to be like, no, I'm not going to come back then.
Here's how I would do it. So, like I was saying, have Punk, have that slow burn to heel, but have him manage the Pinnacle as a face. And then have him send them after MJF leading up to their match at Full Gear. Have MJF take the title off of Punk, and that's when Punk goes full heel.
I think if they do bring MJF back, they're going to do the title match at the Dynamite at Arthur Ashe in New York. MJF becomes champion.
Either that or have MJF lose the first match and then come back stronger at Full Gear.
Again, I don't think MJF would go for that. Like, I think if he's going to come back, he's going to be like, you better give me the belt right away.
Either that or have another, kayfabe injury for Punk and then have another interim title thing where MJF ends up becoming interim champion. And then have it settled at Full Gear. Like I said, I just don't want them to pull the trigger too quick. I want Punk to have a long reign, as he is a champion. He's entitled to a long reign. They gave it to Hangman. They gave it to Jericho. They gave it to Kenny.
Yeah.
They gave it to Moxley. I think if they gave Punk a short reign, I think it would lead to him leaving the company. Because he feels screwed by not getting the long reign other champions did.
Would that be a bad thing, though?
I mean, yes, it is. You're literally losing, what is currently one of your biggest stars.
True. But
it's going to be a huge hit.
Hey, I'm not advocating for CM Punk to leave the company. That's not what I'm saying. But if CM Punk goes, then maybe you have room to push some of your younger talent, like a Jungle Boy, like a Ricky Starks, like a Powerhouse Hobbs, some of your homegrown talent.
Yes, but you're not going to attract the casuals with homegrown talent. That's the main reason why a lot of WWE stars get title shots and are, some of the bigger names. It's because they're trying to attract an audience of, WWE fans so that they can introduce them to that homegrown talent and make fans out of that.
That is true. Yeah, you do have a point. We're going to wrap things up shortly because Notre Dame, Ohio State kicks off in about 15 minutes. And although I am not a Notre Dame fan because right there.
OHIO.
Nope. We are Penn State, which we got our first. Wow. Hopefully you heard me during all that. But yes. I am a Penn State fan. Somewhere on here. Oh, actually right here. I have a Penn State keychain. That's what John gave me for Christmas last year.
Oh, you got me a fridge magnet of the old Chief Wahoo logo.
But yeah, I've been a Penn State fan actually for a few years now. So,
I mean, what team were you a fan of before Penn State?
I wasn't really a big fan of anybody. Like, I did watch Ohio State mostly, but I wouldn't say I was a diehard Ohio State fan or anything like that. Well, here's how I'll say. Here are my feelings about Ohio State. Okay, Penn State is my favorite team in the Big Ten. But while I dislike Ohio State because I feel like as a Penn State fan, there's a dislike towards Ohio State, I do respect the Buckeyes. I enjoy watching that. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
They're fun. They're a fun team to watch. Their games.
I guess the reason I became an Ohio State fan was because my dad was an Ohio State fan and his dad before him. It just passed down through generations.
Yeah, I get that. The biggest reason I became a Penn State fan, though, obviously I don't condone anything that Jerry Sandusky did by no stretch of the imagination. I'm not kooky like that. But to see how Penn State got punished and was basically thrown into the fire, right? You know.
Yeah.
Like they were down in the dumps. To watch them overcome that and become one of the bigger factors in college football, I just really appreciated that. So I became a Penn State fan. Plus, I'm also a big fan of Trace McSorley, Saquon Barkley. I wanted the Browns to draft Jahan Dodson. So, yeah.
I feel bad for Saquon, the situation he's in. I think he would have been a better running back if he went to any team but the Giants.
I know.
Because their offensive line is, I think, right now the worst in football. And that's why he keeps getting injured.
Ooh. You have the New York Giants as the worst offensive line in the NFL. Really?
Yes. Look how many sacks Daniel Jones takes compared to every other starting quarterback in the NFL. Okay. It's nearly twice as much as the next up guy.
Yeah. We'll probably go right. By the way, we'll probably go right up until 7, but since that's when Ohio State Notre Dame kicks off in a top 5 showdown, that's probably when we'll end this thing. By the way, if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you give that subscribe button a skull-crushing finale, like the Mint.
And don't forget to GTS that notification bell for notifications like CM Punk.
Yes. And let's see. Oh, hit the like button. Give the like button the boom like Adam Cole.
I was going to say more, give it the Panama Sunrise because that's his finisher.
Yeah, I like that. We should have said that type of stuff more throughout the show. Damn it.
Yeah, finisher moves. Those are good.
No, I didn't even mean that part. I'm saying we should have mentioned the more subscribe, click the notification bell, press the like button, all that. We should have mentioned that more throughout the show, but whatever. Because right now we're at an hour 50 minutes, so we got about 10 more minutes to go.
Yeah, and we can talk Clash at the Castle since we didn't really finish up. Because we had a surprise heel turn.
Yes, we did. Although everybody was expecting this heel turn.
It was just about as predictable as Christian Cage turning on Jungle Boy.
Correct. Dominic Mysterio. So it was Rey Mysterio and Edge against Damian Priest and Finn Balor of the Judgment Day. Rhea Ripley is the third member, but for some reason, even though Beth Phoenix was on Raw a couple weeks ago, they didn't do the mixed trios tag team match. I have no idea why, but whatever.
I'm guessing it's setting up for a singles match between Beth and Rhea at Extreme Rules.
Beth hasn't been on the show, hasn't been on Raw since, so I don't think so.
Oh, maybe she's hurt?
I don't know. But either way, so Rey Mysterio and Edge got the win. They're celebrating with Dominic Mysterio. And then, well, Dom kicked Edge right in his man parts.
Ooh.
Yep. And then I forget what he did, but he did turn on Rey Mysterio.
I wonder, like, what the context is. Because I don't really follow WWE that well. Like, what's the context? Is he joining the Judgment Day?
Most likely, yes.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah. Most likely he is joining the Judgment Day.
But, like, why is he joining the Judgment Day? Like, what's the behind-the-scenes story of that?
The Judgment Day and the Mysterios have been feuding for a while now. And Edge just recently came back, like, on a mission to destroy the Judgment Day because he was.
Oh yeah, because he was their leader, and then they turned on him.
Correct. Once they brought Finn Balor in, yes. I don't remember why the Mysterios got involved initially, but ever since they did, Judgment Day has been terrorizing the Mysterios. And so they've been trying to get Dominic to join Judgment Day. Like, Rhea Ripley's been just terrorizing Dominic. On the Go Home show for Clash at the Castle, Dominic and Rhea Ripley were left alone in the ring. Dominic has a kendo stick in hand, and Rhea's like, just put it down, and just give me the kendo stick. And eventually he did after a little bit of time.
I remember at one point, I remember hearing that during a match between, I think it was Finn Balor and Rey Mysterio, Rhea Ripley came out with a bloody Dominic.
That is correct, yes.
Well, that was in Cleveland, wasn't it, when Raw came to Cleveland?
That might have been in Cleveland. I don't remember.
Because the Finn Balor versus Rey Mysterio match took place in Cleveland.
One of them. I think one of them.
Yeah.
Because they did one at Madison Square Garden. They did a fair amount of Finn Balor, Rey Mysterio matches. I
mean, that's what happens when you have two veterans, you know. You kind of recycle old matches. Because I'm pretty sure they faced each other a long time ago as well.
You're probably right. But, like, Finn Balor cut a promo on Raw, like, why are we celebrating the veterans? Like, Rey Mysterio and Edge have both gotten documentaries. Where's my documentary? So it was that whole thing, and yada, yada, yada.
Also, what version of Finn Balor are we seeing with the Judgment Day? Like, are we seeing, like, normal Finn Balor or Demon Finn Balor?
We have not seen the Demon since his Extreme Rules match with Roman Reigns last year at Extreme Rules, which was an Extreme Rules match where the top rope just randomly broke and Roman Reigns ended up winning the match, and there was no type of follow-up afterwards. Nothing.
Dang it, that was my idea too, to bring out because like I had a match today in WWE 2K22 between Finn Balor at Clash of Champions, Finn Balor and Roman Reigns. Finn Balor won via countout, but did not get the undisputed belt. So I'm like, okay, now a rematch has to be inevitable. And I actually have 2 rematches inevitable because I did one between the Street Profits, who are my Raw Tag Team Champions, and the New Day, and Kofi Kingston got disqualified.
Right. You can do a stipulation where there's no countouts, but you don't see that stipulation very often. So normally,
I'm thinking that when I do my eventual like rematch between the New Day and the Street Profits for the Raw Tag Team Championships, I'm going to make it a no DQ.
okay. Yeah, a no DQ match would also give you no countouts.
Right.
Which takes away the champion's advantage because, with champion's advantage, you get count out and a DQ means the match ends. Which, although if it's just a regular match, then you have disqualifications.
I remember one time there was a time where Chris Jericho, back when he was in WWE, intentionally disqualified himself because he injured his opponent, who I believe the guy was Neville, which we know him as Pac in AEW.
Yes, we do.
He broke his foot during the match. I guess landed awkwardly after Jericho tried to hit him with the code or one of his, his special moves. And I guess Jericho realizing that Jericho tried to, pin him, but apparently the referee only counted to 2.
I don't know.
And so Jericho had to disqualify himself, so he intentionally pushed the ref to, stop the match because he didn't want Neville, aka Pac, to get hurt any further. Which honestly, if you think about it, that just shows how caring Chris Jericho is as a wrestler, that he didn't want to hurt his opponent further, so he intentionally disqualified himself so that the match could end and so that Pac could get the necessary medical care he needed.
Right. Going back to AEW All Out for just a second. Do you remember during Quake by the Lake, Jericho had Moxley in the walls of Jericho for like 3 minutes or something?
That was during that picture-in-picture break.
Right. So,
and I remember seeing a YouTube short on it that was like, how the hell is Jon Moxley able to stay that long in the walls of Jericho?
Okay, so I'm bringing that up to ask you this, because you were just talking about Jericho. Do you think in the match on Sunday against Danielson, do you think we could see a similar spot where I know with a pay-per-view, there's no commercial breaks. I get that. But do you think there could be a part of the match where he has Danielson in the walls of Jericho for like 2 minutes or 3 minutes, something like that?
I'd say I wouldn't say it's the walls of Jericho. I'd say it's his other submission because we're seeing the Lionheart.
Oh, it's Lion Tamer.
Yes, I think we see that one, but I think the reason he's in there for 2 minutes, or the reason he puts Danielson in there for like that 2-minute stretch without him being able to tap, or without Danielson tapping or grabbing the ropes, is because there's gonna be distraction.
Yeah.
I think within my heart of hearts, within my mind out here, that there's no way the JAS and Blackpool Combat Club do not get involved. They will get involved. They always do, whether it's post-match, during the match.
That's the only thing I'm worried about with this pay-per-view tomorrow. Like, with the Powerhouse Hobbs Ricky Starks match, the factory has been getting involved a lot lately.
Oh, they're definitely going to get involved.
Right. So you have them. You have.
I think someone's going to come in, and I know this is going to sound very weird given how their relationship kind of ended, but I think we could see the return of a couple members of Team Taz coming in to help Ricky Starks.
Team Taz is no more.
The former Team Taz, I should say, which was Hook.
Hook is the FTW champion, so I don't think so. I don't know what happened with Brian Cage, because it looked like he was going to be part of some group with Ring of Honor, but that appears to be nothing anymore. But my overall point, though, is I'm worried that a lot of these matches at All
are
Out
just going to lead to faction involvement.
Yes, or
although Hobbs doesn't seem to like the factory, so what I think is going to happen is instead of or when the factory comes out to kind of deal with Ricky Starks, I think Hobbs, and I know I'm going to sound fucking insane for this, but I think Hobbs and Ricky Starks reunite to beat up the factory.
No way. No, that really.
I know it's a long shot to happen, but what if it does?
No, they went. This feud, they're done. They're going their separate ways, dude. But my overall point is not just faction interference, but just interference in general. Because with Danielson Jericho, we're obviously getting
Daniel Garcia. I think it's going to be the Jericho Appreciation Society as a whole and the Blackpool Combat Club as a whole.
Okay, but either way, we're expecting some type of interference, right? Or
yes. With the House of Black versus Miro, Darby, and Sting, obviously, it's not going to be random interference. We know Julia Hart's going to play interference. She usually does.
Right.
During that coffin match, remember, she was the one who tripped up Darby Allin while he was going to dive at Brody King.
Right. So we expect interference with that match. With the Jungle Boy Christian Cage match, Luchasaurus is probably going to play some type of factor. So
yes.
So my overall point, though, is I think this is going to be a fantastic pay-per-view tomorrow. I think every match on the card is going to deliver in some way.
And I actually have another match that's originally, because she wasn't going to be on the fucking pre-show, originally I had Ruby Soho playing interference in that Fatal 4-Way match and winning the belt so that we could finally get Thunder Rosa versus Ruby Soho.
Okay, but my overall point, though, is I'm worried a lot of these matches are going to have some type of interference or shenanigans.
No, I completely understand that. And that's kind of what the modern professional wrestling sports entertainment thing is. It's shenanigans. It's people interfering for shock value.
Yeah.
Even though by this point we expect and are not surprised when it does happen.
Right.
We're more surprised when it doesn't happen.
Honestly, with Jungle Boy Christian Cage, if we are going to get Luchasaurus returning, have him return after the match. Have Jungle Boy beat Christian Cage clean. If you are going to have Daniel Garcia be involved with Danielson Jericho, personally, I would prefer if that were to happen after the match.
Right. So, and then just have Christian Cage standing there in a heap. Jungle Boy or Luchasaurus comes out and stands over him
and strikes him with a chair.
Well, I was going to say, and just stomps on him.
Yeah, I like the idea of striking him with a chair better.
Why would a 65 million-year-old dinosaur use a chair when he has feet?
Anyway, we got to wrap things up because Ohio State and Notre Dame are about to kick things off. So enjoy AEW All Out tomorrow. Enjoy this great weekend of college football. NFL football starts up next Thursday. It is the Buffalo Bills against the Los Angeles Rams. We got Browns Panthers next Sunday. Baker Mayfield against his former team. We got Russell Wilson going against the Seahawks on Monday Night Football. We got Buccaneers Cowboys. Great weekend of football. This weekend we got Ohio State, Notre Dame, Utah, Florida. Oregon, Georgia happened earlier today. Cincinnati and Arkansas happened earlier today. You got WWE Clash at the Castle, WWE Worlds Collide, which is an NXT pay-per-view. You got the UFC Fight Night that happened. You had
Clash at the Castle.
Correct, Clash at the Castle. AEW All Out is happening tomorrow. Whew. I
think next weekend, next Saturday is UFC pay-per-view.
It might be UFC 279. So, hey,
yeah.
In October, we get the NBA returning, and we get the NHL returning. We have Major League Baseball playoffs coming soon. NFL season is back, as I just illustrated. This is a great time to be a sports fan. So
this. If you love sports, this time of the year is heaven for you. Everything's happening. And I think we're getting the oh wait, no, the MLS playoffs don't happen until like November-ish.
But on that note, we might be getting not an actual MLS team, but an MLS development team here in Cleveland.
Yep.
But
oh man, that's gonna be fun.
Hey, in the meantime, go Cleveland SC.
Yeah. Yay. And go Columbus Crew.
Yes.
One of the original MLS teams and two-time MLS Cup champions in 2008 and in 2020.
Yes. And Cleveland Guardians, get your shit together, because now you're only one game ahead of the Minnesota Twins in the AL Central. And we
should be steamrolling this division.
And if the Twins catch you and overtake you, you're not getting a wild card spot. Not with Seattle, Tampa Bay, Toronto, and Baltimore. So Guardians, get your shit together. But that's going to do it for tonight's episode.
Yep.
Thank you very much for tuning in. Chris and I are planning on doing this thing every Tuesday. Sorry we haven't stuck to that. Things, plans change, stuff changes.
And sickness happens.
Yes. But Chris and I are planning on doing a WWE versus AEW Forbidden Door pay-per-view. So stay tuned for that. But we will see you next time. I'm UngarToTheMax. That's Seaboss.
I'm Seaboss Gaming.
A salute to you, and thanks for tuning in.
Peace.
Peace out. And let's go all out.